How are
No worries.
you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Long time.
I know. It's crazy. I feel
Yeah.
like I get to like interrogate you, but because it's me, like it's allowed. Like I'm only gonna be nice and
No,
gentle.
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
So what are you struggling with today, like in general? Like what's your biggest struggle point, if we can start there?
Uh, are you getting straight to it?
No, 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 not yet. That's just like me,
Uh,
you like how you are. Like
oh,
struggle
okay.
point in the sense of like work, personal,
I
whatever.
think ba life, I think it's work-life balance. Yeah. It's balancing my personal life. I feel like, for example, last year, I sort of felt like I neglected myself in terms of just working. I wasn't working out. I wasn't sort of, taking time out. So this year I'm quite deliberate. Well, I started in December, like taking leave, you know, going on holiday, like eating well and exercising and like looking after myself. So sometimes, yeah, it's like we had a new project last year. It was quite stressful.
Hmm.
So I think it was focusing on opening that project and things were didn't go according to plan. But do things ever go according to
Right.
plan? Yo, just like
Even mine
delays and
wants things to go according to plan, but yeah.
yeah. So I mean, speaking of last year, so this year I'm a bit more um sort of deliberate in my time, how I spend my time in a day. Yeah, because I just was like a slave, and also just speaking to the team. Yeah, it's just managing that. Yeah, and you, I always like to ask people
Of course, yeah.
like,
Well, it's a two-way street, right?
are
Especially
you based
that's
in
like
Cape Town or Joburg?
no, no, still Joburg based.
I don't know
You know,
why
I'm
I
a
thought you were in
digital
Cape Town.
nomad anyway, but yeah, still Joburg based.
Okay, cool. I don't know why I thought you were in Cape Town
Yeah.
for some odd reason. I thought you were, but
Well, my
yeah,
energy is drawing me there, if that speaks for anything. I'm putting it out in the universe.
yeah. But Cape Town is also becoming a bit hectic.
Oh, I
It's
know.
not like because everyone is trying to move there, so it's very expensive, very busy, very yeah.
Also, I think it's like one thing to like vacation there and like stay there. So those are like two
Mm,
totally different things. But I would say
mm,
what I'm currently struggling with, and it's so funny. It's like I don't know if you get the same thing, but like I get signs like, and if I don't listen, they get louder a little bit. So for me, especially now that I'm project based, that like, I
ah,
show up in rooms that like require me and it's like how I want to work and all of that. I think I've struggled a lot with having a capacity for like different personalities. I think
oh wow,
I want to work with people that like mirror my values and all of that. And I'm just like, that's not how the world works. So I've like really been it's like almost feels like a tug of war. Like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna work with you just because you are not like ethical or whatever. Even though that's like totally like normal, but it's like just because I'm working with you doesn't mean we're like friends in real life. Like it doesn't
yeah,
have to be
yeah,
that deep. So I think like yeah, capacity. I don't like yeah,
yeah.
I just need to expand my capacity with different people, especially like work is concerned. I feel like in the past. We like literally paid to work with people. It's like you're paid to like make it work, no matter who the person is,
Yeah, no matter
you
what.
know? And
Yeah.
now that I'm not in that position anymore, it's literally been like values and and that coming into play. And I'm like, Amina, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what level. I
Right.
mean, what you are saying, I still, in fact, I have moved more towards that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think because you need to preserve your energy, so for me, it's almost like I'm actually thriving to do what you are saying. But obviously, there's like different spectrum of that
Right.
whole thing. It doesn't necessarily mean you can't work with people. that you think they are this, but there's spectrum in terms of who do you have at the seat at your table, because you can have different people. Like you can have people that closer, like certain people
In a
closer to your
circle.
table,
Yeah.
and then like when you go to a concert, there's specific tickets that you offer. You've got the full access
Yeah.
backstage pass,
Right.
and then you've got the golden circle, and then you've obviously got people that standing.
Behind the
And
scene.
so that's how yeah. So just choosing who are your full access backstage pass, who are your golden circle people, who are your like second, and then who are your people that they're far away, but you still work
Right.
with them, so you can preserve your energy. Yeah,
That's so good.
and I think for me, that's that's what I do because ish, if you because yeah, man, it can
It's a
really
lot.
drain your energy. But like with clients and stuff, I mean, I also have corporate clients that the people I work with and just difficult, draining,
Yeah, across the board.
like, and you can, but it's not that I don't work with them, but it's just like, okay, next time I need to put certain
Things in place.
parameters
Yeah.
in place to govern our relationship so that, and also with new clients to avoid the same thing happening before, So like when I do um, any sort of new partnership or like business, before sometimes because you like someone, you just have a handshake, like, yeah, let's do it. Ah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then like when money comes and then there's like tension and beef,
That's when
but
you
you don't
real
actually
the
have,
real people. Yeah.
yeah. So now you just put stuff in place before to say, hey, let's govern this relationship, even though we like each other. Let's discuss the uncomfortable part. Like if our relationship doesn't work or whatever, like how would we like manage conflict or disagreements
Right.
between each other?
Sorry, Tumi,
Um,
another question to add to this before we start. Do you have like a vetting process, or do you like, especially with new clients, like, or is it a thing of like someone knows someone, and because you know that someone, then it's kind of makes it okay because the person that you know is a trusted somebody, and therefore you can meet another person, or do you have
and
actual
it,
things
yeah, yeah.
process?
So again, that has different spectrum. I mean, from a customer point of view, um, I mean, I think when it comes to corporates, I mean, I work with large. Some of them are publicly listed companies.
Right.
So obviously those guys, I mean, most of the information is publicly available. So you can vet or you can actually access information about will they pay you. So that's never
Yeah.
been an issue. But then what I have done is there is a vetting process with my suppliers, for example, that people that do support out my work, certain suppliers, especially new people. Um, I mean, I'll make an example now. Even if you know someone that you worked with, things can still go wrong. So we just did a project now at Lion Pride, and because I've knew this guy for like 10 years, I said to him, "Hey, how much is it going to cost to construct this whole thing?" We didn't sign any paperwork. I've
Yeah.
seen him do the work before. So I was like, "Hey, like this guy for the like 10, 11 years, I've seen it. I've seen the work. I've seen it. Like, why do you need any vetting?"
Right.
Oh, because yeah,
Seeing is not always
that
believing.
was that was a dick. And I think it was the first time working closely with him. And then I started realizing, I mean, I think I also even realizing that he also has some mental instability issues,
Right.
you know, like 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 pathological lie,
I see.
like someone, I think they can't help but to lie.
Ah,
Like the person, I don't know, like it's just a weird thing. Like you could say,
it's a part of you now.
um, yeah, like um, yeah, they that's yeah. So that's where I realized, and almost I realized I was like, hey, this person is actually something, maybe then when I met them, they were okay, but
Right.
there's obviously something that happened in their life, which is also affecting their work. But
And that can be
psychologically,
trauma. Seriously, trauma can do
yeah,
that.
so psychologically, there's something wrong. Because, he's a person who'll tell you, no, I'm going to do this now. Like, as soon as we hang up, I'll do it just now. And he doesn't. And then after like seven calls, every time you phone him, he's like, I'll do it now. He never does it. And then when you phone him, you're like, hey, dude, you literally said you're gonna do this like
Yeah.
now.
So what
Like,
happened in
to a point, I actually have to record a conversation or email it because I was like, I need to remind you because when I asked you, you completely can't remember.
that's crazy. That's also like a form of
Uh,
gaslighting, but yeah.
yeah, so
Anyway,
yeah,
yeah. So I have a small surprise for you before we start. Can you see my screen?
yes, I can. I
Um,
actually, to be honest, I don't even know like today's session. I didn't know if I could dress up properly
no, you're
if
like
you're doing
perfect.
it.
Oh,
I'm a former
Yes.
bank. I was in financial services for about 7 years, and
Hey,
I
my
would
God.
help to work late
This
hours,
thing is still online.
having the convenience of being able to train or live a healthy lifestyle. So I saw
Wow. This
that
thing is
in the
actually still
market.
online.
I saw that as an opportunity to say, creating a convenience for people that actually at a workplace where they have the ability to go
So
and
now I
train.
have a whole
But
beard now.
above that, offering more than just a gym, offering wellness, disease intervention programs, making sure that staff are productive, they are engaged, they are happy. It's a real return on investment for any company to know that their staff are healthy and they're looking good. We design.
that's literally like from 10 years ago, was posted
You know
by
that's still our client. Who was posted by?
CNBC Africa.
Yeah, that is still
Yeah,
our client.
that
Absa,
is
even
crazy.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is so
sure.
crazy. But honestly, like it speaks to like what I'm trying to do to me.
Mhm,
I mean, that's like from 10 years ago, right? And I think we live in an
mhm.
era where um digital, there's something called digital currency, but not exactly
Yeah,
like
so I'm just getting
so
water.
no, no, no
I'll
worries.
put my screen on. You can continue speaking. Yeah.
So there's digital currency, right? But not so much digital leadership, so to speak. Like, what does that mean? I think like we all have a niche, and it's like the whole point of being online is meant to be different, but it's like we have an identity crisis when it comes to that. So for us today, I would want us to start at the very beginning, and that looks like because I'm more interested in like the internal architecture of everybody.
Mhm.
It's like businesses don't run businesses. It's like the people behind those organizations that kind of
Yeah,
get to the motto or like the slogan of why they actually exist. And I feel like, yeah, we're living in
right.
such odd world when the opposite of that just seems like it's working out. So I want to know from you if you can
Sure.
identify where consciousness was like introduced to you or like what that was like, where it was like, I've heard you speak so many times and you like always go on about like creativity or just like imagining. And I know that's probably books for you, but like I just want to know from your perspective when the idea of consciousness and what that meant to you.
So maybe to understand your question clearly, are you referring to like conscious leadership or consciousness in what aspect?
Consciousness is like who you show up in the world, right? It's like if you can look back, I mean, I don't know what fears you had watching that
Mm.
video 10 years ago in comparison to like the fears that you have now. Like I'll give you an example. I recently like found
Mm.
a drive full of pictures from like 6 years ago. And I was laughing my head off because it's like the person that I was back then was like audacious. And not to say I'm not that now, but it was like nothing was stopping me. Like I had an idea and it was like go, go, go. And it's so funny
Ah,
how like we grow up now and it's kind of like we have this, oh, what are people gonna say? Or like, am I doing too much? And you kind of like dimming your light, but in
wow.
comparison to like the person I
That's
was
actually very powerful.
then, I was like, yeah, I am the girl that I think I am. And it was just so, abrupt and positive. So in that sense, in the sense of like all that you've accomplished, all that you aspire, your desires, in that sense, where did it like that start for you? Or even like, yeah, internally, spiritually, religiously, in whatever sense.
Oh, yeah, sure. I think, wow, that's actually like a powerful question. I think when it comes to, you know, I mean, even just looking back at that video when you played and how I felt, um, I think I was at a stage where, definitely very ambitious, um, like very like I was a sponge who wanted to learn. Um, I was also naive, um, and I was a person who always saw like the good in everyone. So, very excited, very you know, my mentor, I mean, I have a mentor that I've been seeing religiously for the last 6 years. We talk every week for the past 6 years of what I've learned. And to be honest, it was a false sense of success.
Back then, or like, what do you mean by that?
Yes. So, because I'm obviously being brutally honest with you, it was a false sense of success. And I'm obviously, and when I say false, not to say we weren't successful, but, like really understanding what it means to build something that can outlive you, and the work that it required to build the building blocks. Then it was like naivety, success, and just like taking everything and whatever. And where I'm at now, it's when you talk about wealth creation, there's just different ways that you do things. And when I say naive, it's almost like I'd be excited because we won a contract and I wouldn't even read the fine print because I'm just excited. It's like, yeah, let's sign, because you won it. So sign it. And
But you
now
need some
it's
of
more
that
like,
today, don't you think? Sorry to cut you off.
sorry.
I said you need that naivety today still
Yes, you do, but obviously with
with
I
finer.
suppose the native, yes, the naivety is more from a sense of always wanting to learn, wanting to grow, so always being willing to that. But like, I mean, I'll make an example, like the one project that I have. The reason why this project is doing well, all it had to take was just negotiation. It was just about the power of negotiating and not accepting terms that someone else is giving you, and actually knowing my worth to say, hey, you
Right.
want to work with me, we will do it in this way. For
Yeah.
this thing to be sustainable to work, before I would just sign and say, yeah, let's do it. So the consciousness, and obviously I've had my hands burned because of those things, that comes with working with people and doing different things. And so I'm almost trying to strike a balance between still being, that power, the energy still being there, but obviously in a more wiser, mature way. Um, yeah, I hope I
No, I
covered
hear you.
your
I
question.
totally
Yeah.
hear you. And you spoke about like striking a balance. How would you say like your relationship with like rest and working is? Like, has it changed from 10 years ago? Or do you think it's just like you understanding your body or understanding like, slowing down and like working to your pace? You just spoke about like you had to negotiate, right? Which means knowing your worth. So now I know it's like you versus you, but it's also like a tug of war with you versus you because even though your body is telling you something else, there's like other different metrics going on in your head. So how do you deal with
Mm,
that?
mm, mm. Yeah, so I think very good question. I think and I'll speak about the pandemic. So I think uh, what before in 20 before 2020 and now, there has been a shift in how people work in general.
Right.
I mean, right now, you'll find in 2019, we probably would have said, let's meet. But we also understand that there is value of us, speaking digitally. You'll get the same results.
Right.
Um, so there was a shift in terms of what the pandemic did on the business. As you know, at the time there was a lockdown. We didn't, I mean, gyms didn't operate for some time because of the legislation and whatever. And so that did push us to be innovative. It pushed us to transform. It pushed us to look at what the market is saying. It pushed us to find different ways of doing business because it completely changed how business was done before COVID. And it was actually quite a hard adjustment to get to that point and realize like, hey, things just never going to be the same. And because at some point we thought, okay, when the pandemic is over, things will be back to normal.
Right.
But it
Never
never
happened.
was. So
Yeah.
so it was a very humbling experience because in a way it actually had forced me to feel like I'm at my startup phase again. When we have reached a mature phase, the pandemic actually forced us to like work like when we were starting off in 2014. And so yeah, it was quite humbling in that sense because it's like we had to change different ways. We have to adapt to technology. Like a lot of technology transformation in the business. It costed us, it cost money investment, and we invested in the wrong things. They didn't work. Then we had to like, yo. So there was that like restart again. And it was like annoying because it's like, oh my God, I thought I'd figure this out. And now I have to like
Do
find
it all
different
over
ways.
again. Yeah.
And you've probably seen that the businesses that didn't adapt to that change, in
Where they
COVID, they didn't survive. I mean, I have friends and people I know who had great businesses, and COVID came and they couldn't resurrect anything. So I'm thankful to the fact that we were able to survive. It was a very hard survival transformation, but we made it through because if we didn't actually say, yo, we need to change, we need to look for the time, whatever. Yeah. So it took out a lot of my time because then I started working like a dog and I had no work-life balance because I got into survival mode because I was trying to change systems and implement things with the team. There were people in the business that did not fit their new way of doing business, and it was also hard because you're like, "Hey guys, we can't use paper anymore. We need to use the," and people are like, we still want to use paper, and you're like, That's we can't. We need to digitize," and
right.
those people who couldn't adapt also, we had to let them go. So yeah, it was it was a tough time. But also I think as a leader, sure, I've never grown as a business person than I have now. Like feel like I've got a PhD in business.
Right. You spoke about like just transitioning, and there's like a concept, a theory called the curse of knowledge about like, you get to a certain level and you just think like you just there's no room in your head to learn new things because you think you have a PhD, and then you just don't allow your brain to kind of relearn something. How do we avoid that? Of course there's life, and thank goodness there's life because as you said, like nothing goes our way, but we are so stuck in like staying the same that it hurts us. Like it
Oh,
paralyzes us. And I mean, I think
oh,
both to you, like you work in an environment where it does keep you on your toes because it's human beings. I think human beings, if you start there and end there, I think that's just like the whole cycle of life because I would like to think humans are, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Yeah, that's also yeah, no, you actually are hitting some very like depth question, which I really appreciate. I think, like you said, as human beings, by default, we desire comfort and relaxation,
Right.
and and so what I have learned now is that, you know, in life, business, or I mean, even seasons, you've got 4 seasons in a year. You've got winter, summer, autumn, spring. And so what happens in that in most businesses is that when people are experiencing summer and things are good, everybody relaxes
Right.
and everyone thinks we are unstoppable. Nobody it can like what can go wrong? We
Precisely.
figured it out
Yeah.
and the sky is the limit. And so with that point you're making, and the lesson is that at the point that you are on the upper curve in your business, that is when now I have learned that this is when need to work on um, how do you either diversify or how do you um, become ready for the next cycle, because businesses have cycles.
But how do
And
you
you'll
know
find
that,
that,
Jimmy?
yo,
Like, how do you identify that?
how did I know that there was going to be COVID? Nobody knew.
Yeah.
How did I know there was going to be a pandemic? I didn't know. But if I had prepared to say, if some cycle that will disrupt this business, what is it that we would able to basically be out ahead of time to do something else?
Right.
Because we didn't know that the answer is sometimes you never know, but you have to be prepared. And so it's actually now in the good times. And when I had the good times, we were relaxed. We thought, nah, man, like I
All
mean, we were
good.
getting contracts left, right, and center. And we just thought nothing. I didn't think that in my lifetime there'll be a disease that will shut people like where we can't work. I never in the million years actually thought that. But it actually woke in me to say that, hey, if it's not that, we have wars that are happening around the world. Like a war can disrupt your business because you were, importing goods from the Middle East. And today, with all the wars happening, suddenly your business, you can't get any goods. And so you always have to be prepared to say, you know, and with the instability that's happening around the world, something can affect how you run business like tomorrow.
Quite literally.
And it's not to operate in a pure space, but it's to always think ahead to say, what do you think in the next 3 5 years, the industry I'm at, how do you think it's going to change? Like right now, we know AI, everyone is talking about AI. Most people are not doing anything about it. And then you'll probably hear on the news where like people are losing jobs because we know that AI is going to affect the way we do business. We haven't really seen it much yet. The word is going out like, hey, AI is going to take jobs, whatever.
Yeah.
But before you know it, we will know of people that are being directly affected because they've lost their jobs because they're like, hey, we don't need you to work in this department because we've got a system that can do everything for
Right.
24 hours, no leave, nothing. So yeah, that's where I've sort of prepared us myself and how I engage in business to say, okay, in 5 years, what will the world look like? Because you turn to work in your own head, like in your own space, and
Right.
and and then now you realize like a lot of external things can affect how you do business. You know,
Good point.
hard lesson, but yeah, learned.
Come again?
Hard lesson, but learned.
We live and we learn. So I want to touch on what you said about like the full sense of success. So I'm currently reading a book called What's Your Money Personality? And it's quite deep. It's like I always call seeking as in like like digging for more. So
Mhm.
I want to read something for you. And the subject, it's issues with defining masculinity. So she says some boys may associate financial success with masculinity, and without a father figure, they may struggle to understand what it means to be a successful black man. This can lead
Wow.
this can lead to a distorted relationship with money in which financial
Bible. Ha, 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 ha.
I did say digging,
Jeez,
right?
that's deep.
This can lead
It's like
to
talking to you, talking to me. That book is talking to me. Sure. Oh my goodness.
I'm so glad to be the messenger then. This can
Yeah.
lead to a distorted relationship with money finan in which financial success becomes a measure of self-worth.
Wow.
So I thought that was
Yeah.
deep. Exactly
No,
how
that was speaking to me. Every line sentence. That's
what it is,
that's exactly, yeah.
right? So
That's
I
exactly.
wanted to ask you, I recently saw an interview with uh Losha Kumalo, who's a South African dancer and actress. And she grew up in the Cape Flats, and she said like her coping mechanism of getting out of the Cape Flats was that like she had to like adapt to this. I'm better than everybody. Everything around me is horrible. And I just don't understand how you guys don't want better for yourself kind of attitude, which is what got her out of the Cape Flats. But then as an adult, it was like unlearning that very same mindset that got her from a place that she didn't want to be. But now, as an adult, it's working against her and having
Sheesh.
to unlearn all of that stuff. So I want to know if you had like the same thing, if you had like, you know, it's like looking around you and you think you're crazy because there's nothing that resembles how great you think you are, how big and vivid your dreams are for yourself and the future, obviously. Did you have that?
Sure.
What did it look like for you? Like I know a little bit about your story, but it's so different. It's like you are the man and like everybody experiences you, but you are at the end of the day experiencing yourself. So that's already different. Like that's a
Mhm.
already a completely different experience from how I may experience you and how other people as well.
Yeah, sure. Um, wow. I'm more wowed by this interview than anything else. I'm just like, okay. Uh, but no, well done. I think this is actually very powerful. Um, I didn't actually think, there's the conscious thinking about these things. I mean, it's things that I talk about, privately,
Yeah.
but yeah, to answer your question, I think, and that's first point, that that is how I measured myself in success. That's what defined me to be doing, because one, when you had experienced abandonment issues, not having a present father. So suddenly when you have a sense of identity or a sense of, and so what happens is there's different silos of these things. There could be abandonment, psychological effect. Then that creates a people pleasing effect, because suddenly
Yep.
your sense of worth is, hey, I can do stuff for people, and so they would like me. So, and I'm able to have people around me because of what I can actually do for them, and not so that creates superficial relationships.
Right.
Um, because you've linked, like, okay, if I succeed and people like me, and also I'm able to, and I become useful to the world, and so I feel good. But again, that creates a false sense of success, and it creates a false sense of relationships as well. And so I definitely went through that cycle um, until I actually identified, hey, like there's something is not making sense here.
Right.
Um, and being able to have boundaries. And so, and the challenging thing is that money comes and goes, right? So now if you attach your worth to money
Oof.
and there's different cycles and things that will disrupt that, then your whole identity
Wobbly. Yeah.
is compromised, right? And suddenly you don't think you are worth more. Or for example, because you were able to do certain things for people, um, because of a sense of wanting to be liked, in sense of wanting to people please. Now that you can't, and then it really you can lose yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So what, and this is a conversation, what my mentor said. My mentor was like, hey, money counts 25% of who you are, and you cannot allow money to define you. And I mean, it took me years to even understand what that means, because I'm like, well, I don't know anything else, because anything else I've done in my life, I didn't feel worthy until people thought, hey, he's doing well, he can do this. And then suddenly, people like you, popular, and you thought, hey, actually, these are good relationships.
Right.
So, um, so I've actually had to kill that part. However, what really accelerated that is when I had my son. I feel like being a father also forced me to transform, because I looked at my son and I said, there are certain things that I need to. I feel like that being a father was also quite a transformative time in my life, because I also wanted to see like the principles that I wanted to teach my son. And like I had to get to a point where I'm like that little child that do me once, to say you are safe now. It's okay. You are safe. And I
Yeah.
had to talk to that little boy to say you're okay. Um and it was quite hard to also be okay that some people don't like you. It was okay to disappoint people, because I think I didn't want to disappoint people.
Good. Yes.
And I had to learn. And I realized and I saw the true relationships that I had, like the real ones.
Ooh.
Because when you suddenly are putting boundaries and you say no, like people get upset, because it's like,
Same with
oh, what's wrong with you? Why are you
you.
saying no
Right.
now?
What's happened? You're not the same
Yeah, and
that I knew.
yeah, or you've changed,
You've
or someone made you
changed, of
change.
course.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? You might just be
Of course. Yeah.
because I suddenly I was like, hey, my focus would to be on my family. Those are the people I should pour into, and not the street. Everything will come secondary now. So it was I, yeah, it was hard. It was like mourning a death. It was like going to a funeral and watching the old me die, and actually going to a funeral and mourning. There's friendships that I had to cut. There's people I'm not really, and recognizing what those relationships are. It was very tough. But
So
on the other side, I'm like more at peace. And like you said, I seek more authentic relationships. And for me, it's okay. Even if I have like two or three friends now, it's okay. Instead of having a whole squad of people that
quality over
just,
quantity. Yeah.
and so that's what ended up happening, that I think I can count the friends I have in my life.
Real ones. Yeah.
Yes. And you're like, oh shit. There's actually not a lot of real like people in your life. But that also doesn't mean I've cut out those other relationships. It's just that I've sort of had to structure the way the relationships are.
Yeah.
Not everybody have a access or a seat at my table. Some people must sit right at the end, right far away.
I
But
love
I'll
it.
still see you. I still see you, but you're not gonna sit in my table.
Right. And that just means
Yeah.
like loving them from afar. And it's like not that, yeah. That's my definition of like self-love, to be honest with you. And as you said, it's
Yes.
like it's boundaries, but that's tough, like tough on its own. Because there's some people, as well as family. And I don't know if it's like a community thing that like black tax especially kind of
Yeah.
covers on
Mm.
that. So that's just a whole nother playing field on,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
here
yeah.
you are trying to break generational curses.
Mm,
You
mm,
probably are the youngest one as well. And it's just
mm,
such
mm,
a tug of war on like, who do you think you
mm, mm,
are? When it's
mm,
like,
mm,
I've
mm,
been called to do what I need to do. So
mm,
you're
mm,
either
mm,
with me or against me. Pick a side.
mm. I
So
know.
I totally,
Black Fridays. Yes. And I think, yeah, me going for like, investing in a mentor and sort of business and life coach. Like I said, I've been doing it for 6 years. And even when the person started mentoring me, like it was just before COVID, she's like, hey, I think I need to mentor you. And she's a executive. She's like, I feel like, so we had one conversation and she's just like, I think I need to mentor you. And this is someone who is, when you set up a meeting with her, it can take you 6 months to get a slot to meet her,
oh, hectic. Yeah.
right? That's how like not accessible this person is. And I actually, the first meeting I had, I waited, I think 6 months to actually meet, to have a meeting with her. And when I met her the first day, she's like, hey, I think I need to mentor you. Something in my spirit says I must mentor. And I was like, oh, okay. So I
That-
felt, obviously, I was like, hey, you're a person that doesn't have time, but you felt like we need to mentor me. And I said, no, cool. And yeah, 6 years later, we have
Deep.
I've had this person that, and it's not for free. I pay for it.
Right.
So it's not someone, this is someone who values their time. So the PA raises an invoice for every meeting we have, and I pay. So it's not even like it's something that I do for free, but it was an investment that is worth doing because, you know, um, and recognizing some of these things about like conscious leadership and how do you, because it was a lot of things in my head that I had to work on to really get to a point where it's like, okay, what is it that I'm trying to do and who am I? You know?
I love that. And sometimes, I don't know, I've recently learned at my big grown age is that not what you think doesn't need to make sense to everybody else. You know what I mean? Even as far as like therapy in our community, that's just such a nice to have because you have finances, but not really like understanding like
That's what my mom said.
you know what I
She's
mean?
like, well,
It's
now
just
you
like,
might just go to church. It's because you wasting money. And I was like, no, no, no.
exactly.
It's not
Exactly.
really wasting money. And then obviously at the time I was confused. I was like, oh, maybe she's right,
Am I?
But something
Yeah.
just guided me to say, hey, like I need to spend time with a professional person who, we talk about business, we talk about personal stuff and strategy, and I'm not going to get the results in 3 months. This thing has to be years of unpacking. And, you'll find only in the
I-
fourth year where you actually really starting to unpack, like, I mean, even the psychology of money,
Yeah.
like how you've explained, where you realize your attachment to money and what it means. And it, in some sense, it even sabotages you.
Right. And you don't know why.
Um,
Exactly.
yes. And
Alrighty.
you have a healthy relationship with finances. Yeah.
That's still such a tough one. I wanted to ask you, like, what did it take or what did it ask of you internally, like when you were expanding, when anybody that saw you publicly could like stop and ask for a picture, ask to like give them a job. What did that require from you? And like, what did you have to change while still like keeping to yourself and not being like performative.
Yeah, geez, that one was yeah, so that one was also just having to create boundaries. Um and I think in a set of boundaries, I am actually going to start a consulting business. Just need to put time
Yeah,
to formalize the my to share like knowledge, experience, strategy, all of these things. So because what it did was, especially with social media, where people just think they can just be accessible to you.
right.
People want to meet with you, and then when they meet with you, they don't even want to pay for lunch, and they just take your time, and they're not really well prepared. Um,
It's like
it
you
just
did
feels
a
like,
favor. Yeah.
yeah, it looks like, I just need you to guide me and stuff. So I've had to create boundaries and to sit back and say, I actually need to formalize uh like a structure where, people can book me, which is what my mentor was also saying, like, hey, you must charge people for your time. And if someone doesn't who feels your price is too much, then it means they're not really serious.
Right. Exactly.
Um and so I will actually so I am planning to launch like a enterprise development business. So we do advise like an advisory business on, funding, business modeling, strategy, all of these things, and working with corporate and entrepreneurs and stuff. So it is a part of my life where I want to give back in that sense. But I was like, hey, I want to give back in a way. And sometimes I will help people from a business point of view, but like maybe get a corporate to fund that whole thing and whatever. So I know I've gone long-winded, but to answer your question, it has it sometimes it can be taxing because people just want to take from you. They want your time. They want you to do everything, and sometimes they're not even really prepared to what they're doing. And so you're sitting there, it's like, hey, what are you trying to do? And all you find is that the person just has an idea.
And they think, yeah,
And ideas don't start businesses. You can't start an idea. Well, an idea, you can have an idea now. We can have ideas until what
right.
makes an idea to come to life is execution. So, so I was like, I'm thinking there by the corner. I want to open what right? What do you think? I was just like, I don't know what you like. What do So
Right.
this system or ecosystem I'm trying to create is to essentially have people like they go on the website. There'll be questions. It'll ask them, what do you specifically want advice on? And then they can complete the whatever information,
Yeah.
and then it'll also have a pricing to say, do you want a consultation? Do you want an advisory work? What do you want? So that when we meet, and if you are willing to, then we can, you know,
Yeah.
do the work for you. And then if people are by going through it, they'll realize actually I'm not ready. Like the questions are being asked, I'm still,
That's the
so yeah,
point.
that's what I'm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the point. I see. Do you have any like social media boundaries? Like, is there anything that you'll say today that you wouldn't post and like 2 years later I'll be like, do me on the 9th
Mm,
of March, you said you would not post that. Like, do you have like a metric on what you post? Like, is there a filter that you go through? And it's always
yeah.
you, right? As like the father, the CEO, the Tumi as well, who just may like to go play golf or whatever the case is. Like, do you find yourself struggling with like posting stuff that like to add value? Because I know, like, for me, like, it can be so performative sometimes. It's like, I just saw that, what's the artist name? Nasty C. He's kind of like been crucified for just like sharing that he's not okay. And it's like the internet kind of doesn't allow you to share that part because, oh my word, Nasty C couldn't possibly have normal people issues. And it's like he's
Oh,
still,
really? What is he not okay with?
yeah, he just said life is a lot. And that's normal,
Oh,
right? It's like that's a conversation you could easily have with a, family friend. But yeah, over history, like history tells us that we can't have those conversations out loud because we will be held to the throne forever and ever just because we just want
yeah, yeah,
help. Yeah.
yeah. So for me, that's a no-no for me personally. That I wouldn't. Yeah. Then it was an AI generated video.
Who knows? They could be that as well. Good point. Oh, things have
and
changed.
also, yeah, yeah. So I have struggled, and hence my social media engagement in the last up 2 3 years has like slowed down. Because I've been trying to figure out like how to do I you know use social media. And again, this is my mentor keeps like um she keeps hitting me. She's like, I notice you're not using social media a lot, and she's been pushing me like I need to go back to social media. And I've always like, that. And she's like, no. And last week we actually had quite a great conversation. She said to me, sometimes you might be doing something now, but it's not something that you will see the results right now. But it's something that, and she just mentioned like do it for your son, whatever. But she has been pushing me. It's weird. My mentor has been pushing me for me to have social media present, which is quite odd. And she brings it up all the time.
But
And I've been trying to find uh, like a new strategy as to how do I use social media. Um, and so I haven't had the time, and I haven't had, and I think it's either having the time or having someone to help me to put package that again. Because I think before, it was like posting opening a new gym, posting maybe playing golf or being on holiday, and having like a quote. Uh, yeah, and I'm just like, no, so it's not really, that's expired now. So I do want to change, but I just haven't had the time. And y- yeah, so and I'm also, it's not just me, but my mentor's saying I have to have presence again, and not necessarily like on Instagram, but I need to like be a thought leader, talk about certain things. Um, and I've got people that, I mean, there's a couple that are friends of mine. They were affected by COVID, and they closed their business because of COVID. But now they working with F&B, and they are speakers, and they charge for speaking engagement, and you
yeah.
know and that's their business. So yeah, so I just needed to. I think I was just in survival mode, and not really focusing on the future, and I was just focusing on fixing things for now. And
Yeah.
sometimes, when you do things now, you won't see the results now, but it's like I'm doing this because I know 5 years how it would look like, because I've built. So I am intending to literally invest and have like a powerful social media presence around thought leadership and business and da 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 da. I think I have a place there, and I think I've dimmed my light. And it's in your message where I've dimmed my light, where I know I have a lot of valuable insight I can have as a young South African. And I was just dealing with my internal insecurities to sort of like let me come out again. Yeah. So I definitely would like to do that.
What would you say your relationship with social media is now? Because I can tell you for free that like I need breaks. Like as far as like notifications, I have to turn that off. That stays off, which means that I can go on it when I want to for whatever purposes, but it is a relationship that has to be established. because yeah, as much as you saying, we all have something to say. Like our differences is what creates the power in all of us. But it's like the identity crisis of us trying to look the same. And it's just like projecting, it can easily like be projecting of what we want our lives to look like or aspire to be like.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the challenges I had because one of the things I just hated is I don't want to, whatever I'm trying to work on, I don't want to sound like everyone else.
Right.
And so there's just been this obsession to like try and find the perfect, unique position. And again, this is where I'm learning that nothing you start is ever perfect. Just start, And I think my mind has been trying to just get this perfect. I just want to sound perfect. I want to post and have 100,000 views, and it's not going to happen. When you hear stories of people will tell you, I had 5 views, I had then next week I had 10 and 15. It grows, and so that's the one aspect of it. To just start the work that I want to do, and this is almost me like giving back to some level and teaching lessons and people not to learn whatever. And then when it comes to social media management, I've been so disciplined uh, because I had a crisis where I was not. I think I went to some point where there was some level of addiction.
Yeah.
Always on your phone or whatever. So in the last 2 years, I literally became quite disciplined. I'm only on certain apps like Instagram less than an hour in a day because I have this timer. So I don't spend more than an hour on Instagram, sometimes even less. Before, whereas I would be like 4 or 5 hours
No.
in a day. Um,
Yep.
I think I spend more time on YouTube now, like watching content that I like, Twitter, whatever. And so, yeah, I've actually become, I'm happy with the transformation and the discipline that I've had to overcome. And like on holidays in December, I went away, and I wasn't on my phone, like I wasn't on social media. Um, so now it's become, but like I said, this is like I was once an addict.
Right. Well,
Um,
self-awareness is everything, right? It's like the problem
uh,
can't be fixed if you don't make the declaration because it will just haunt you forever and you'll just be in denial until it becomes a real problem, until like 5 hours has gone and you've not done anything. So I totally get that point. I wanted to share, there's his name is Mo Kodet. He was a former executive at Microsoft and
so
they
is there more?
Mo Kodat, Gawdat.
Oh, got
W.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love more.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I love
I
him
follow
too.
him.
Like,
I mean, I saw him on the Diary of a CEO,
uh-huh.
first time, but I actually follow him. Yeah, no, he's an awesome guy. Yeah.
And he said something like so interesting. Like he was like, he doesn't want to be remembered. Like the interviewer had asked him, like, so don't you want to create a legacy? And like what he said startled me because he was just like, sincerely, truly, legacy doesn't mean anything to me. He's like, yes, sure, you will have digital footprints, and should that change the world, wonderful. But like his whole concept is like he wants to be pure enough so that God accepts him, that like it wasn't all of his doings wasn't for anybody else, and that he thinks that like you don't play to win in this level. And I thought to myself, that's so interesting.
So,
I feel like everything in life we kind of, yeah, I don't know if it's like the egotistical in us, which I think ego is healthy. We have to befriend it so that it
yes.
helps us. But yeah, he was just like, it's really not about that. And I'm just like, how many people can actually say that and mean that? That
Mm.
what we're supposed to be doing is, for the glory of God, not necessarily for the glory of other people, because that's when we get twisted. That's where our desires of like perception versus our goal and all of that. And I was
Mm.
like, "Phew, yeah,
No, it's absolutely. I mean, I used to, I mean, Bill Gates was someone I just thought he was a great guy, which to some level, I still think he does. But now finding out all the things that you're finding out now,
right.
um, and I mean, this is a man who was donating a huge percentage of his wealth to the goodwill of the world and medicine and developing research and vaccines. But then you find out that some of the things that these guys were doing were for tax
Purposes.
related purposes, owning certain, there's and finding you heard about the Epstein files, right?
Yep. Who has not?
Yeah, and his wife, and and I also understand he's a man. I think it also proved like, hey, this guy is just a man. And also it just proved to say, when you look up to someone or you admire someone from far, always do it with a pinch of salt.
Definitely.
Um, because, like Bill Gates, I always thought, wow, this guy, like how he's donating his wealth to a good cause, the Bill Gates Foundation. And now you're hearing he's was talking about certain things with like Epstein and what else you can find. And I'm not sure, but it just made me realize like, hey, like people are people at the end of the day, and let's not
Put them on a pedestal.
and God like what you call it, like worship,
Right.
where you almost God like, because what it does is you almost think this person cannot do wrong. And you see
Idolize
them as
them.
idolize them in a way that is then you realize, hey, this is just a normal guy. I mean, if he's doing vaccines and all that, how the hell did he get an STD?
Right.
When you have all the money to come up with stuff, and then it's just like, dude, what are you
How? Make it
talking
make
about?
sense.
Like, yeah, that's just like, okay. Yeah, so yeah.
I mean, if you think about how people like Oprah Winfrey still have like imposter syndrome, I feel like that should allow everybody to be like, I'm human and it's okay. It really, really, really is okay.
Mm, mm,
Right?
mm.
Okay,
And
so
we all do have it on some level, the imposter syndrome. And I think, we obviously have to handle it, because that also can be that could sabotage. It's also like a self-sabotaging trait, that, when you do well or you certain rooms and you feel like you're not worthy of certain
right.
things, which I know that I went through that. Um,
At the
you
level, at
know,
your level, right?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
where you have, I mean, even this project that I just opened now, the guy who was our head of operations, when I fired him, and this is one of the boundaries that I'm talking about, and he said to me, "You need me in this business."
Oh,
You
hey,
know, he was kind of saying, "Hey, man, you can't do this without me."
right.
And so that enabled him to just do whatever he wants because he felt like, and to some level, I blame myself that I may have given him to feel like he's indispensable. Therefore, some people will start saying, you are successful. Your success is based on them. And these are people that when you are successful, they'll also kind of make you feel like you are indebted to them. So whenever you get the rewards, they'll feel obligated and they'll feel entitled that you must share everything with them. And so I went to the test where, I still echoes his head. He said, "You can't do this without me." And I did it without him. And wherever it is, he probably heard, he saw, and he probably is asking, "Oh, who was involved?" Um, and I did it by myself. I
Ooh.
won't lie, I was scared. I thought he might be right.
But
But
that's how
the
people
old me,
gaslight you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. To say, no, you can't do this, you need me. Um, and like Jay-Z said, I mean, Dame Dash was like, um, he made Jay-Z, and Jay-Z's line is, he says, I heard Mother effers said they made Hove. And he's like, he said, oh, okay, so make another Hove. If you made me, then you can actually make another Hove, you know? Yeah, and that line I always relate is like, we parted ways like Jennifer and Ben and J-Lo, because people will do that. Like when you start being successful and you feel like you owe them and it's you should do things for them and whatever. And when you hear Jay-Z speak sometimes and the things he say, he's like, yeah, and you see Damon Dash, he's always like, yeah, Jay-Z didn't do this and that. And I think if Jay-Z didn't make the decision that he made in business, I don't know him about in his personal capacity. Some people say he's a horrible person, whatever. I don't know that. But from a business point of view, him leaving Rockefeller and leaving those guys, clearly you can see that it just propelled him to
Done. Yeah.
whatever. Because I think the people that he was with, he felt like they were just,
Holding him down.
and they hate him. They hate him. And they
And you
always
will
hate him.
have people like that that will like disguise as something else and you know.
So I've
I,
never,
oh
I,
yeah. It's
like, when you have enemies that you have not done or said a word about this person, but somehow you are the enemy, and you're like, how?
right.
Like, dude, I've never even crossed paths with you, but you hate me. And for me,
They went
it
you
was painful. Yeah,
you
it was quite
literally
painful at
on
the beginning.
the head. Yeah.
Yeah, it was painful at the beginning. I was like, wow, when you hear the things they say about you and when they're with you, they're like, whatever. And then, I mean, I have guys during the tender adjudication or the dating process, like guys who will speak to the tender adjudicator and just lie. Like, that guy? Because that person knows that if they can't make up a lie to diminish, there's a chance that I will win. So the only way they can win is that they have to play dirt.
Yeah.
So I've had guys who lied, made up lies, and I then fortunately I had the same tender people for me. They're like, "Hey man, you need to be careful. You know that guy. This is what he said about you,
Right.
but we have all your information. We know that's not what you." And I still won the project. You know, and people make up rumors and say all kinds of things. And sometimes you're so pissed, like you feel like phoning them and wanting to beat the hell out of them. But you realize, maybe having
Not worth
haters is
it.
a good thing. But it means that you're a threat, because
Right.
people wouldn't hate on you if they didn't think that you didn't. And I just wanted to play fair, but I don't know. The hater
1000%.
rate.
I call it a
uh,
triggering to purpose. Like,
oh,
yes, you got to trigger people to
please,
purpose.
please explain that.
So I always say, like, if I'm able to trigger you, that allows someone else, or like if something triggers me, it allows me to dig, to be like, okay, if I'm feeling envious about something because of someone else, what does that say about me? Like, why? And then you get to the bottom of it, and then un it's like a volcano of like certain things that you didn't know. Like, why? Like, where is the root of this coming from? So, like, I always joke to my family and I say, my goal is to trigger you to purpose. And so you can figure out
Mm,
what it is that I've said. And and it's like, I would like you to do the same thing because we are in relationship with one another. If you don't say anything, that's you enabling me for like bad stuff, and that's not love, right? If you love me, you're
mm,
gonna tell me what I'm doing wrong, but with love so that I can fix myself. If you don't, you're like crippling someone and they'll just like stay the same, and then they go into different environments and then they can't actualize why other people are responding the way they are. And then that just
Mm.
like stomps on someone's growth, and then they can't grow because they've been conditioned by more than one person, by more than one relationship that just allows them to think that the perspective that they have is the right one. Meanwhile, it isn't.
Yes. Wow, that's powerful. And at the same time, I think that there is a notion or there is a trend or there is a practice, and I will let me speak for South Africa. I don't even want to go too far, where you have people who spend time enjoying gossiping about other people, enjoying gossiping about other people's downfall,
Right.
or being commentators and spectators, right? And majority of those people are not even doers. So I'll make an example. Um, the drip guy, right? Um, when you went on social media, you had people who had something to say who've never started a business. They've never even
Right.
registered a business. They don't even know what it
Right.
means to run a business, but they
Right.
have like a intellectual opinion about what he did. And I'm
Apparently.
like, dude, until you have done it, how can I even listen to you? And not this in a sense of disrespect, but with me understanding business, I empathize with him because I'm like, hey, I know what it takes. I see it in a different way. I don't see it in a way of like, oh, he did this and that, because there could be a million things that could have caused his
Gone
business to close.
wrong.
Uh, and so where I'm standing as someone who's an entrepreneur, I'm standing from a sense of I don't have room to criticize that person because I don't know. But you find that a lot of people on social media, they will criticize, they'll have reasons why they think what you should have done, or you grew too much, or you did this. And a lot of the times it's people that have not even started it. They're just spectators. And so I think there's quite a trend of trigger happy people who are there to hate and discuss what you should have done and what you shouldn't. And one has to be careful not to be those people. You must be. I had a finance manager about a year, 2 years ago, and he was looking at like our projection, like what we did in the past, and he obviously looked at COVID, and it was like, oh wow, he was also quite impressed and with some things, and then there were some things he was critical of, and he said, and I don't think he realized, and he said, if it were for me, I would have done A X Y Z, and I said to him, but you have not done
Right.
anything.
You can
You're
assume.
looking at a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And he kept quiet. And I said, until we get in the ring and you know how it is to fight and bleed, you have no idea. You can't, like a spreadsheet and Excel and doing a financial model. That's not how you build.
Yeah.
And he became small because he realized like actually, yeah, it's easy for me to be like, oh, this is what I would have done.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
like, yeah.
Grace is so difficult. It's like I've learned if you can't give yourself grace, see, there's no ways you're gonna give another person grace. It's
Mm,
yeah. It's like if I can say, oh my word, do me, if I can put myself in your shoes, yeah, then I have no opinion. Then I'm not criticizing you, obviously. But the world that we live in doesn't really like make space for that. Because it's like how?
mm,
Also, we live every single day. If we were sitting here, if this was like our second life, yeah, sure. Then we could be criticized because we've had more than one chance to do something. But it's like
right,
every
right.
day is a brand new day, and we have this, and it's like, some days we only have 5% to give, and we should give ourselves grace for that. And some days it's
Mm,
different. But it's like just understanding that just like allows us to move forward.
mm,
And with that, like
mm.
our last session is mastering yourself from a point of grace. I know you said you're finding your balance on that, but like what does that mean for you? Like what does mastering yourself for whatever capacity, and I hate saying that because you have to master yourself first. it's like all the roles in all the capacities that you play, quite frankly, can't operate if you are not at ease with yourself. Even
Oh,
like mastering sounds a bit heavy because it's like as humans, it's like every day, like, are we really required to get up and master ourselves? Like, yes, sure, that's the plan.
mm,
But yeah, in the phase that I'm in, that feels like a loaded word.
yeah.
Use, yeah.
Um, sure. Mastering myself,
On a day to day, or you could give me like one day, yeah. Like, is it going out for a run, reading?
yeah, I think that's work. It's obviously work in progress, but I think for me, mastering yourself, it's almost like someone saying, what would the 10-year-old self say to themselves if you could go back, you know?
Ooh,
Because I almost feel like the same principles that I felt childlike um, apply as an adult. You know, mastering yourself is not, for me, it's not taking everything too seriously.
love that.
Uh,
I love that.
um, being young at heart, um, just saying, just operating in an abundant mindset.
Got it.
Because when you're operating in a survival mindset, is a survival mindset is one that you mentioned this earlier, when you attach financial success to your identity. I'm operating from a mindset of survival.
Got it. Ooh,
But when I operate from a mindset of abundance, is when I know that there is more than just money, and I'm more than just money. And abundant is also knowing that um, there's opportunities, there's growth. You know, survival mindset is you sort of, it's like working, it's like a hustler. You know, like
yeah.
a hustler is waking up and saying, "Yo, how much? I just
Am I
need to
gonna
make
catch today?
um,
Yeah.
for the week." You know, that's a hustler to say, "I need to go out and just I need to get $100 to eat, and then I'm okay."
And
And
to
that's a
your point,
survival mindset.
survival. Yeah, survival.
Mm. An abundant mindset will allow you to see beyond today, but to say, what do I want to build in the next 5 years? What do I want to build generations to come? And so, an abundant mindset means that you will start building things that you will not see results right now.
Right.
Because survival mindset is we want to be rich, make money today. If it's not making money right now, it's like I need to be, yes. And people are like that, and that's why you're hearing about these tender frauds and all these business people that we've heard of that are supposed businessmen, and you're hearing that now they've been investigated by the Hawks and things are being attached, is because that's operating from a survival mindset. It's because people think, yo, this is the only way I can actually attain money. I have to cheat my way to get this because I don't think I'm worthy to build and grow. That is a survival. But someone operating from an abundance will actually realize that, hey, let me learn to do this. And if I do it properly, I can actually be in business forever.
I wish so much healing for the world, right? Because all that sounds like to me is just like trauma and how we have to like unlearn certain things. So there's a
Yeah.
word called epidemic, I believe it is.
Yeah.
There's like DNA and epidemic, which is basically
Yeah.
like all the experiences that our forefathers and grandfathers had while our
Mm,
parents had us, that
mm,
will give us the heebie-jeebies, right? It's like, be it
mm,
money, right? If they had those traumas and like terrifying apartheid as well, if like our parents were born in apartheid, they will have that same reaction. So to your point, the survival mindset is like the way of life and how we've been like trained to. So
exactly.
yeah, crazy.
Yes.
So my last question would be, how comfortable are you in discomfort based on like your reaction. It's like if someone knows you really well, it's like something has happened, a catastrophe has happened. What is your response like metric? And has it changed? Has it evolved over the years? Or like, yeah.
Yes, it has, because I think I used to avoid discomfort.
Hmm.
Um, I used to avoid discomfort. I used to avoid the difficult questions. I used to avoid the hard parts of human interaction, negotiating, because that those are not easy conversations to have.
Right.
But that is where my superpower or my learning, it was actually my Hercules heel. That's where my weakness is, because through negotiating and having difficult conversation is where I actually saw success. So, for example, this project, and I mean, we can always unpack it in another time, is that there were certain conversations I needed to have with the developers or the investors where there were things that I promised which I couldn't, in good faith to say, hey, I'll be able to deliver this, and realizing I can't deliver. It was hard for me to say, guys, I'm struggling here. I won't be able to make. And so I wanted to keep a face of like, no, I have everything under control. And the hard question was to eventually say, hey, we need to change this. And even now, having to negotiate and having the difficult, uncomfortable conversation. But that is actually what is making the project succeed, is because we're having the nasty thing to like, hey, the numbers or the projection that we were supposed to get to, we didn't get to those numbers.
That's so
But
good.
everyone in the room knows they are business people. They know that it's, what you put on paper to the reality. There's so many factors that can affect you to get to hit target, as you said. And having to be comfortable to having those uncomfortable conversations where I'm like, okay, this is actually what I needed, because I used to avoid that a
Yeah.
lot.
I love that. That's so good. So necessary. I think I also struggled like asking for support, but I heard the other day that like we have all been assigned, what did she call it? A live team,
Mm.
right? Because it's like certain things that you did aren't things that you need to do at whatever season that you find yourself in, right? So you have to like be okay with asking for help and okay with receiving it, an abundant mindset.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's so
Well,
good.
there you go. There you go.
That is
Yes, because
so good.
yes. Because it was my survival mindset that was operating,
Right.
and not in abundance. So this is where I'm at here, just
Okay.
learning to be in an abundant mindset.
I love that. So Dumi, the closing segment is a segment called This or That. So you're basically gonna pick one or the other based on what I ask you.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so one book you would reread, is it The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F or The Courage to Be Disliked? Assuming you've read.
I have read the set of I love the book, yeah.
Yeah,
So I've read that one.
got it. Um, would you choose a holiday in Dubai or Hong Kong?
Hong Kong.
Got it.
I've been to Hong Kong
Oh,
actually.
really?
I've been to both places, yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, I've been both to Dubai and Hong Kong. Cheapest. Hong Kong is very American, like they think they actually think they're better than like Taiwanese people or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I was there about 2 years ago. Jesus, very hard.
Really? I
Um,
feel like they're so different on so many different
they
levels.
are. I think Dubai is also great, but it's also quite superficial. I mean, it's good for business.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I think the way things are moving now, I'll probably say Hong Kong.
No, that's
Um,
safety. We are operating in a abundance mindset. So you don't even have to consider all of that. It's like you are given,
okay, Dubai. I mean, Dubai is beautiful. Like, yeah, Dubai. I
you're
would
going
do
with
Dubai
Dubai.
with a
Wonderful.
heartbeat. It's beautiful place. Yeah. beautiful. It's good to do business and a great networking place. So yeah, I'll do Dubai.
Got it. Podcasts or books?
Nam podcast
Okay, we'll take it.
because I want to start one myself.
Oh, really? Oh, so great. Do you
Yes.
have like an idea of the direction that you want to go in?
Yeah. Like thought leadership. I think for now I'm going to start just talking about certain topics.
Mhm.
Um, like I'm going to talk about funding or in funding. How do you fund your business in South Africa or Africa? What does that mean to for funding? And because it's a question that I normally get from people, I want to fund my business. So to just do a segment on that and also then share my experiences, my journey, like how I was able to, what kind of funding I was able to get and what do they look for um and so to just kind of help whoever's listening, like where are they in their business and they need to understand it. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about. And also I have like years of experience in understanding what funding means. So I'll sort of do one where it's myself, and then over time, we'll probably invite people. So like funding in South Africa and Africa, and what I've seen and what I was able to get and how I got it.
Yeah,
Talk about Black economic empowerment. What I have been a product, a beneficiary of BE. I've seen BE from like what it means in South Africa, and like
that's
and sort
great.
of it's so I know the audience would listen because I'm not just talking about like theory. It's like I know because I have
Lived
done it. I have
experience.
been
Yeah,
of the transaction. So it's like this is what it means, and this is what's missing. This is how you need to position yourself, and this is what da 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 da. So that's sort of some of the topics, and maybe that kind of helps you to
I
see
love
what
that.
direction I'm going there. Yeah.
Also, to me, like at the end of the day, like it's you. Like no matter how you take that, it's like there's so many existing topics of this that already exist. Don't get me wrong, but it's like you, as you said, it's like lived experience. And sometimes it is a battle in the mind, but it's because of you it will flourish, you know? I feel like we have to have a healthy relationship to acknowledge that. I think visibility that makes us anxious is still the ego. But once you've
Mhm.
like understood that like visibility is like you serving, then the game
Yeah.
changes, you know, then it's
Yeah.
not like it's arrogant. It's like, yes, it's working because you have, you know, lived through this experiences, all the challenges
Yeah. Yeah.
were like
Yeah.
designed for you. So no matter what anybody
Exactly.
else thinks, it's like anybody who had the challenges that you had wouldn't be able to survive them because they just didn't have
Yeah. Yeah.
the tool set and the favor that you have. And I always say like favor
Mm.
isn't fair as like
Yes. Yeah.
it really isn't. It's just what it is. We all have the
Yeah. And I think that's where I want to get to, like, just to start.
yeah,
And I think yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm I've been basically trying to work on that.
love it.
And I think that'll essentially will be that's what my social media transformation engagement is. When you go into my, that's what you sort of will see.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And
that's
not
it.
embodying, not really like it is you, right? It's like it doesn't
Yes,
take away from you. And everything that you do is like giving back to you in a sense.
yes. And so the shared experiences and learnings, and it's what I would like to do. Yeah.
Got it. Best piece of advice you've ever received?
Don't live to survive, but live to thrive.
Ooh, that's good. Would that be your go-to quote as well? Oh, mini Demi.
My go-to quote, yes, it will be, yeah, don't live to
Survive.
survive, but live to thrive. Yeah.
Got it. And then, yeah, the last one is digital leadership is.
Um, Digital leadership is being part of a global ecosystem that is shaping the next set of leaders.
Deep. Ooh,
Yes,
deep.
because everything that we are doing now, it's kind of shaping, the next generation is going to copy and then obviously have it different with everything that's happening now. I mean, yeah,
Love it.
yeah, it's actually shaping how it's going to look like in future.
Which is
It's cool, bro.
scary. But yeah, we went a little bit over, but
Yes.
it was good. Um, I feel like, Demi, like I'm such a deep person. Like what project, like I have stopped dimming my light by my deepness can't be like shrunk, right? So it's just like always so good to like, yeah, find people that like understand that because I feel like I'm not a weather person. I just like can't do it. There's just like, yeah, which is so great. It's like you either liked or you're not liked. And yes, it may like bruise your ego when you're not liked because you're just like, oh, I'm such a wonderful person. Like, how can they not like me?
Listening. Don't
But it's
like me,
like you'll
yeah.
always find your tribe. So yeah, like this is so
Yes.
deep
Nah.
and like so meaningful.
No,
And yeah,
awesome.
it was just good to connect with you and like all the
No,
best.
it was. No,
Uh,
thank you. Thank you. And yeah, let me know how it goes, the work that you're trying to do. And I'm sure we'll share some notes. As I said, I'm also trying to get my digital footprint, to a level that I think will contribute to the ecosystem,
I'm always
and for me
to
as
help.
well,
That's
and
what
for
I
my
do.
growth,
Yeah.
to share certain things and find like-minded people. So yeah.